What if I told you that the most influential writer in history, a man whose words have shaped the very language we speak, began life as an ordinary boy in a small town? A boy whose father struggled with debt, who married young out of necessity, and who disappeared from records for 7 mysterious years. This isn't fiction. This is the extraordinary true story of William Shakespeare. Before you click away, thinking this is just another boring history lesson, let me ask you, have you ever felt like an outsider with big dreams? Have you ever struggled to find your voice in a world that doesn't seem to be listening? Have you ever wondered if your passion could actually change the world? If so, this story isn't just about Shakespeare. It's about you. April 1564. A cold spring day in Stratford-upon-Avon, a quiet English town with narrow streets, wooden houses, and a river flowing gently through it. In one of these modest homes, John Shakespeare, a glovemaker, and his wife Mary cradle their newborn son. They name him William. They have no idea that this child will one day revolutionize literature and leave an imprint on human consciousness that will endure for centuries. Young William grew up in a bustling household, one of 8 children. While his father worked hard, crafting and selling fine leather gloves in the town market, William observed everything around him with unusual intensity. The way people spoke, laughed, argued, and reconciled. How their faces changed when telling stories. How words could transform emotions. In those days, long before television, smartphones, or social media, entertainment came from traveling actors performing plays in streets and town squares. William would watch, transfixed, his imagination igniting with each performance. These moments planted seeds that would later bloom into the greatest plays ever written. At 7, William began attending school, a simple building with wooden benches and strict teachers. Here he studied Latin, history, poetry, and classical literature, absorbing the epic tales of ancient Rome and Greece that would later influence his greatest works. But just as life seemed to be unfolding normally, disaster struck. John Shakespeare's business collapsed. The once respected merchant fell into debt. Suddenly, the family that had lived comfortably was struggling to put food on the table. William witnessed his father's humiliation and his mother's worry. Instead of breaking him, these hardships deepened his understanding of human vulnerability, the fragility of status, wealth, and reputation. These lessons would later emerge in plays like King Lear, where a powerful man loses everything he valued. By 18, William faced a life-altering situation. Anne Hathaway, a woman 8 years his senior, was pregnant with his child. In 16th century England, this scandal demanded immediate marriage. In November 1582, teenage William Shakespeare became a husband. 6 months later, he became father to a daughter, Susanna. 2 years after that, twins Hamnet and Judith arrived. At just 21, William Shakespeare, with no stable income, no profession, and a father drowning in debt, had 3 children and a wife to support. What would you do in his position? Here's where the story gets truly fascinating. From 1585 to 1592, William Shakespeare simply vanishes from historical records. These 7 years are known as the lost years. Some historians believe he became a schoolteacher. Others suggest he joined travelling actors. Some even claim he fled Stratford after being caught poaching on a nobleman's land. Whatever happened during these critical years transformed him from a desperate young father into something remarkable. because when Shakespeare reappeared in London in 1592, he was no longer just William from Stratford. He was becoming Shakespeare. Imagine London in the 1590s, a crowded, chaotic city pulsing with opportunity and danger. Streets teeming with merchants, beggars, nobles and thieves, theatres packed with audiences hungry for entertainment. Into this world stepped William Shakespeare. No connections, no money, no reputation. Just extraordinary talent and burning ambition. He began as an actor in small theatre companies, studying everything about performance. Soon, he started writing his own plays, comedies and histories that caught attention. But established playwrights mocked him as an upstart crow, a nobody pretending to greatness. Shakespeare didn't argue. He responded with work so brilliant, it silenced his critics. When plague closed London's theatres in 1593, Shakespeare didn't despair. He wrote poetry instead, earning royal patronage. By 1594, when theatres reopened, his star was rising rapidly. In 1599, Shakespeare and his acting company made an audacious move. They built their own theatre. The Globe became Shakespeare's kingdom, where his most profound masterpieces first breathed life. Hamlet, exploring revenge, madness, and meaning. Macbeth, revealing how ambition corrupts the soul. Othello, examining how jealousy destroys love. King Lear, showing the tragic consequences of pride. These weren't mere entertainments. They were mirrors reflecting the deepest truths of human existence. When Queen Elizabeth I died in 1603, many feared the theatre would lose royal protection. Instead, the new king, James I, embraced Shakespeare's company, renaming them the King's Men, the highest honour possible. The glovemaker's son now performed for royalty, accumulating wealth beyond imagination. He purchased fine properties, including New Place, the second largest house in Stratford. Yet, at the height of his success, as his plays grew more philosophical and profound, Shakespeare made a decision that shocked everyone. In 1613, at age 49, William Shakespeare retired. He left London's spotlight and returned to Stratford, to the quiet town where his journey began. There, in his grand house, he spent peaceful days with family, occasionally receiving visitors from London seeking his wisdom. Even in retirement, stories continued flowing through his mind, words forming on his lips. But in April 1616, after an evening with friends, Shakespeare fell ill. Within days, the greatest writer in history was gone, at just 52 years old. 4 centuries have passed since Shakespeare's death, yet his influence only grows stronger. His 37 plays and 154 sonnets have been translated into every language on earth. We quote him daily without realizing it. To be, or not to be. All the world's a stage. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Why does Shakespeare endure while countless other writers fade into history? Because he understood the universal truths of human experience: love, ambition, jealousy, betrayal, forgiveness, redemption. He showed us ourselves in all our glory and weakness. Now, my friends, I want you to consider something powerful. Shakespeare was once just a boy from a small town with no special advantages. His father struggled financially. He made youthful mistakes. He disappeared for years. Yet he transformed himself through determination, observation, and relentless creativity. This isn't just Shakespeare's story. It's potentially yours. You have dreams right now that might seem impossible. People may doubt you. Circumstances may seem against you. But remember this: Shakespeare changed the world with nothing but words and imagination, tools that you also possess. What's your dream? What story are you meant to tell? What legacy will you leave? As Shakespeare himself wrote, "It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves." Your future is waiting. Go make history. If this story inspired you even slightly, like this video so I know you felt the power of this message. Comment below and tell me your dream. Subscribe and hit the bell icon because we're on this journey of becoming unstoppable. Together, stay inspired, stay unstoppable, and remember, the world is waiting for your unique voice. See you in the next video, where we'll explore another extraordinary story that will transform your English and your life.